Okay, so I've just measured these discs, so they're a 294. So I've got to order 2 discs. There's some drills and slotted ones there. Need some front pads. He's just pulling the steering rack out now, and I'm about to go get the forklift to lift up the other car so we can get the other rack out. I've ordered fuel filter, plugs, leads for it, rocker cover gaskets, and I still have to order the brakes, and I'm going to replace both front CV shafts. And yeah, this thing will be cracking again. So yeah, we haven't found anything else bad, but just a case of replacing all those rubber things and stuff. You can buy a complete hose rubber kit for it, like water hoses and stuff for the engine bay for, I think it's about 80 bucks or 100 bucks or something. So I'm going to replace all them, just black hoses. And yeah, this thing's coming along, so cool. This is apart, so you can see how bad the pads were, which were right down to nothing. So I've got discs coming, pads. Wayne's pulled the steering rack out of that other Subaru. Boots are done, it's in good nick. There's a little bit of movement in this rack end, but the tie rods and all that are really good. Yeah, so that hub's off. This is the CV shaft that's got the broken boot, as you can see. Some new boots there. So we're just going to replace that one boot, re-grease it, he'll get all that back together. Other than that, she's really good under here, and we're just waiting on parts again, as always. But we are getting there, which is great. Righto, so the smoke was all coming from that side. You can see where the bottom of that gasket was just leaking. So Wayne's just got that apart now, and yeah,
cleaned it up where it was.
Yeah, so the oil was coming straight out the bottom, straight onto the exhaust, and that's why it just seemed like it was going to catch fire. So, but we've got everything now. I've got to go, the discs are here, I've got to go pick them up, they're at home. He's done, well, the new plugs and leads are here, racks in. We should be able to drive this again today, which is good because we've got other stuff to get on the, on the hoist. Time has come. Let's see how we go. We're gonna start her up, warm her up, get the oil hot so we can drop the oil and see what it's gonna do. So new plugs and leads and everything, and rocker covered gaskets and fuel filter, so it might take a little bit to start. Hit the key, man, so let's see what it's gonna do. Hang on. Remember the plastic stuff on these terminals was a bit, try that now. Well, I bought one. Beautiful. There's no way to clean that element in it, so that chuffing will be right today. Got it all quiet down in a sec. Righto. That's running. We'll let that come up to, not up to temp, but just get that oil a bit thinner, a bit warmed up, and then you can drop that while he's doing that. The new discs and pads have turned up, so that's them there, some slotted and dimpled discs and pads, and then we'll be able to get this off the hoist. Yeah, and get the next one in. I did just test drive that again. You may have seen it in another video. But it's actually good now from the tank coming in and out. So that's just a clean up now and out as well. Well, that's annoying. We've got to put the old discs and pads back on because they sent the wrong, the discs were right, the pads were completely wrong. So WRX runs these pins here, and they're the pads they've sent, and they're just completely wrong. But yeah, is what it is. But yeah, at least we can get that off the hoist today and get some other jobs in on, because pissing about with my stuff doesn't pay the bills. Back with my beautiful WRX that's brand new. It's really, really bad. But anyway, the other brake pads have turned up because when I ordered the discs, they sent the wrong ones. So got this jacked up, going to pull those discs off and put the new ones on. These ones have got the 2-spot calipers, the bigger ones. And they run the same pads as like a 240SX and Skyline, believe it or not. So they've turned up. So hopefully this thing today I'm gonna get some fuel while I'm out, and we will be able to drive it properly. Maybe it's got that flat spot, we'll have to sort that out because it doesn't boost still. So we'll sort that out, then we'll be able to drive it. Discs are on, new pads are in. Eventually we will pull this apart and clean all this out, but I want to drive it and it'll present some more issues. There's the old ones, you can see how rooted they were. It was down to steel, and there's a huge lip. So yeah, all back together. Nice. This side's all done. Just got to put the wheel on and got some fuel, so we should be able to drive this thing. Oh, we've got to do that. I'm pretty sure that the airflow meter is routed on this and that's why it's not holding boost. So we'll have a look at that in a minute. What's wrong with people that they paint those switches right there for the WRX red and blue shit under it? Like, what is wrong with people? Like, it just means that when someone normal wants to use those parts, now I've got to pull it all apart and paint it black again. But yeah, I wish I had another set that weren't tampered with by someone that tampers with things. Anyway, yeah. Back with my gem of a Subaru. I painted up those switches and they look absolutely atrocious, but they're black and they're in there and the clip is broken. So I still have to get more. I haven't done anything in the interior yet, but I'm running late to get this video up. When I went through, remember we were driving the car and you drive along and it was nosing over like it wouldn't hold boost. Okay, so that, I thought it was the airflow meter and it was. So I went through the process of fixing that, and then after I fixed it all, Wayne goes, you should have filmed all that, because it is good technical information for anyone that owns a WRX and is having the same problem. So if you've got a WRX or even a turbo car that you're driving along and you floor it and it just noses over, it feels like it won't hold boost, what it is the airflow meter, right? So a quick explanation of an airflow meter and an oxygen sensor for fuel injected cars. So oxygen sensor, as far as I understand, okay, is in your exhaust. So an oxygen sensor is, see that there sticking out, right? There's one there and there's probably one, so there'll be one pre-cat and one post-cat on late model cars. Some older cars only have one. So what that oxygen sensor there does is when the car is at idle, okay, it judges how much unburnt fuel is coming through into the exhaust. So then it will lean out how much, the ECU will lean out how much fuel is getting fed into the engine. Once you come off idle and start accelerating, okay, that's pretty much useless, that sensor, okay? So it needs to then judge how much air is getting pulled into the engine to set the fuel ratio, so it'll increase fuel to the injectors as it senses more air. So it changes from the oxygen sensor or the O2 sensor, okay, which is that, and then it changes to the airflow meter, which is this one, okay, which then judges how much air comes into the engine, which then tells the ECU how much fuel to give the engine, and then away you go. That is a very basic explanation of fuel injection, okay? So right here on this car is the airflow meter, 2 screws, pulls out, and it just looks like a plastic block with either a wire in it or a flat piece of something. Now, here's where it becomes technical for a WRX. So we're going to do the whole Scooby-Doo back in time to show you what I went through. We're talking old school Scooby-Doo, not the new black Velma one, because that's crap. But anyway, righto, so 2000 model WRX. Ran into trouble with the brakes, having the bigger brakes that on it. So I had to get different pads, but I honestly assumed that the 99 model WRX was the same, but it's not. They actually have smaller brakes and a different airflow meter. I'll go at the back and show you that other airflow meter, and then I'll explain you a little trick on how to... Airflow meters are expensive. Like, to replace the airflow meter in that thing, it's probably $400 from Subaru to get another one. But if you look up Subaru airflow meter in a 2000 model WRX, and then you go into eBay, right? I was going to show you, but go into eBay and put in that, look up the listing, and then go into the listing, and then go down into the description, and the description will actually give you other vehicles that same airflow meter is in. So I actually have in that car now an airflow meter out of a Pulsar, believe it or not. Pulsar's the same. I think Patrol was the same with the ZD30 motor, so the 3-litre diesel motor runs the same airflow meter, and I just happen to have some of them in the yard here that I could swap it straight in instead of buying one, because I'll show you the difference. Like, you saw that airflow meter there, how it goes into that. The one in the 98 out the back is completely different, which is bloody annoying, but yeah, right, let's head out the back. Righto, so these WRXs here are 98 models, right? They run the same engine, gearbox pretty much, but it's just some of the electrical stuff. See that there is completely different. Okay, that there's not removable. You got to buy the whole unit. They're more the same style as like 300ZX run a very similar one to that, or Z31 300ZXs do anyway. So they might be the same as early 300ZX ones. I'm not positive on that, you'd have to check it, but eBay is a great tool for checking parts compatibility between vehicles, because you might have something in the yard, or you know that the local wreckers has got a car. They might not have your specific car, like a 2000 WRX sitting there to wreck, but they'll have a Pulsar, they'll have a Patrol. So later model stuff is very interchangeable, which is good, and eBay is a great tool to use for that. Righto, so next step on that WRX is obviously interior, wheels, exhaust. But yeah, but I've got the parts have come in now for the RX8, for the rear boot and some panels and stuff for that. The other wheel has come in, I've got all some tyres, so I'm gonna jump off the WRX for a bit while I accumulate a few more parts, and we're gonna get the RX8 done. And yeah, I'll see you again soon, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. Remember, eBay, awesome for compatibility of parts and seeing what works. Hope you enjoyed that. Another step closer